Imagine standing outside at night in the American Midwest, far from city lights, looking up at a sky filled with stars. You might see satellites drifting silently or catch the faint glow of the International Space Station. But somewhere above you, moving in ways most satellites cannot, is a classified American space plane, one that stays in orbit for years at a time. It launches like a rocket, disappears without explanation, and returns to a military runway with almost no public discussion, no live broadcast, no celebration, just a short statement, mission successful, and then silence. Officially, it's the X-37B, an orbital test vehicle operated by the United States Space Force. Roughly the size of a bus, unmanned and wrapped in secrecy, it looks like a miniature space shuttle. It launches vertically, reaches orbit, and begins a mission that remains largely a mystery for the hundreds, sometimes thousands, of days it spends circling the planet. The first mission lasted 7 months. The second, over a year. Eventually, one mission exceeded 900 days. Nearly 3 full years in orbit without a crew or public documentation. For a mere test platform, that duration raises eyebrows among analysts worldwide. To understand why this matters, you must understand how unusual this endurance is. Most satellites follow predictable paths until their fuel runs out. They cannot change missions or return to Earth with cargo. The X-37B can. It is reusable, maneuverable, and can adjust its orbit at will. When finished, it glides through the atmosphere and lands on a runway like an airplane, rolling to a stop before being towed into a hangar away from cameras. This capability alone fundamentally changes the equation of military power in space. Throughout American history, advanced aerospace projects like the stealth programs of the Cold War were hidden in plain sight for years. So when a robotic spaceplane is described only in vague terms as conducting experiments, history suggests the full story is far more significant than the summary. The official explanation cites materials science and radiation testing. These are reasonable goals. But if the mission were purely scientific, why not collaborate with NASA? Why not publish research papers? Instead, payloads remain classified, and in the realm of military space, secrecy breeds speculation. Experts suggest the X-37B may be testing next-generation surveillance systems capable of unpredictable maneuvers. Unlike traditional spy satellites on fixed paths, a maneuverable plane can shift altitude and reposition strategically, making it impossible for adversaries to track reliably. Others believe it tests microsats, small satellites that act as temporary surveillance nodes or signal interceptors. The ability to deploy or disable orbital assets without announcement introduces a new layer of strategic complexity. Then there is the controversial theory, space control. While treaties prohibit weapons of mass destruction in orbit, they don't ban all military technology. Could this vehicle inspect foreign satellites up close or test electronic warfare systems? Officially, there is no confirmation, but other nations are paying close attention. China has developed its own reusable space plane, and Russia has expressed concern over American expansion into orbit. A satellite's path can be observed, but its intent cannot. The X-37B represents a stepping stone toward a future fleet of autonomous vehicles, launching on demand, remaining in orbit indefinitely, and returning with physical intelligence. This blurs the line between reconnaissance and presence, between deterrence and dominance. The language surrounding each mission is always minimal, objectives achieved. But in military culture, precision in wording often hides a vast reality. Space is no longer just for exploration. It is critical infrastructure. The emergence of Space Force signaled that orbit is now a domain of warfare, just like land, sea, or air. In this context, the X-37B is a strategic asset, quiet, patient, and transformative. The silence surrounding it creates a mystery that thrives where information is limited. It witnesses everything from perspective beyond nations, then returns with scorched heat shields and secrets locked inside. The future of space won't just be defined by astronauts planting flags, but by platforms operating quietly in the background. The X-37B is the first visible hint of a future where space superiority is maintained by agile, autonomous vehicles. So next time you look at the stars, remember there may be something else moving silently overhead. A spacecraft that doesn't carry people, but carries purpose. A machine representing the evolving edge of power in the 21st century. Whether it's an experimental platform or something far more significant remains unknown. And perhaps that uncertainty is the point. Because in national security, the most powerful weapon isn't the one that makes noise. It's the one that operates in silence.